What is going on, guys, and welcome to the channel. Now, about a year ago, I posted a video called How to Maximize Financial Aid. And despite me being all awkward in front of the camera, it's one of my first YouTube videos, a lot of you guys really loved it. And I got a ton of money saving or money related questions in those YouTube comments and in my DMs. Now that I'm winding down my last year of college, I thought I'd share with you guys how I managed to pay off all my college and how I'm not gonna graduate with 0 student loans, along with some things that I didn't do but wish I had done to save me even more money. Now, just one quick note, guys, I do not believe you need a college degree to be successful even in today's day and age. You can become pretty financially successful being a firefighter, a plumber, a real estate agent, and none of those things require a degree. But if you do want that degree, want to save as much money as possible, go ahead and smash that like button and let's hop straight into the video. So the first thing right off the bat, which will save you the most amount of money, is go to community college. I know you guys have heard this before, and I know you don't want to go because you want your freedom and that independence, but just hear me out. The average cost of an in-state university with tuition, fees, food, room, board, everything included is about $25,000 per year. So 4 years of in-state to get your bachelor's degree and you're $100,000 in the hole. Whereas tuition alone at community college is only $4,000. You'd be living with your parents, so room and board shouldn't be an issue. If we were to include all fees like gas, textbooks, everything, it go out to $7,000 per year for community college. So 2 years of community, 2 years at an in-state, and you're $64,000 in the hole for your bachelor's degree. So right away, by only going to community college for your first 2 years, you just saved $36,000. There's also a ton of other great reasons to go to community college. I personally didn't go, but it's one of the things that I regretted just so I could save even more money. So I definitely recommend you guys all go to community college if you can. Now, the next biggest money saver I would recommend is graduating early. I know this sounds like a ton of work, but it really isn't. Basically, over the summer, you can take community college classes despite you being at an in-state or even out-of-state university. Pretty much every university has a list of courses that you can take at your local community college, which will count for credit towards your bachelor's degree. Just search up your university's name in Google and then cross-campus enrollment or community college transferable classes or something like that. Now, I recommend you guys stack up on GE classes over the summer because I cannot stress how easy these are at community, especially if they're online. Last year, I took 3 classes: women's literature, ethnic studies, and some rock geology class. Put in maybe 4 hours of work total into all of them and easily got A's. My counselor at the time recommended I take 3 classes max, but I honestly regret not taking like 5 or 6. I was working a full-time job at the time as well. The best part about them is that grade doesn't even transfer over, only whether you passed or not. So you don't even need to do well, just get a C or higher and you get the credits. Unless of course you're in community college, then do well because you need to transfer to a university. Because of those classes I took, plus an extra class here or there, and my AP credits in high school, I'm set to graduate 1 year early. So I'm getting my bachelor's in 3 years, which saves me a ton of money. Now, if you guys are currently in high school, I recommend you guys don't take any AP classes. Instead, take community college classes over the summer and a few at night during the school year. If you do this and you hit them hard enough, you can graduate community college before you graduate high school and then go straight into your last 2 years at a university. Or you can just take less classes over the high school and then spend 1 year at community college and then go straight into your 2 years at university. I actually have a friend who did this where right after high school, she took a ton of classes that next year. She's actually enrolled in 2 community colleges at once to get all the classes she needs. And then she went straight into her last 2 years at UCSD where she's wrapping up her final year now. So definitely graduate early, guys. Even if it's just 1 or 2 quarters, it'll make a huge difference in terms of how much money you'll save. Now, the next advice I'd give you guys is to choose your university very wisely. I know this is a common thing where people think if you go to a top tier university like UCLA or an Ivy League, they'll get a higher paying job after college. And that might be true, but I've found that unless you're going to a very, very top tier school for your degree, nobody really cares where you went, especially once you've gotten your first job after college. They care much more about your internships, your skills, and how well you do on those interviews. So when you're choosing your school, try to pick one that's cheaper compared to the rest of them. I also recommend you guys choose a school that's within 3 hours of where you live, so you can commute back, so you can get rides back home. You don't have to pay those expensive airline fees. If you have a school that's within commuting range and that has your degree, definitely go for that because you would save so much money by not having to pay room and board. I know that's easy for me to say since I live in the Bay Area and there's literally hundreds of schools within 3 hours of me, but do stick to a school that's close to you, and definitely if it's in commuting range, you'd save a ton of money. Now, the next thing up is to knock down that FAFSA. As I mentioned earlier, I made a video talking about how to maximize financial aid, and I'll have that video linked below in the description. Definitely do check that out because I made a pretty simple mistake which costed me about $10,000 of aid I could have gotten. And to this day, it literally still just eats me alive thinking how much money I could have just gotten straight in my pocket if I hadn't made that one simple mistake. So definitely watch that video, get that financial aid, because that's just free money going straight into your pockets. Now, after financial aid, the next way you can get free money into your pockets is through scholarships, but apply to ones that have limited pool of applicants. Here's what I mean by this. Most people watching this video, there's really nothing that's special about you. I don't mean to be rude, but the people that win those big, huge scholarships, they're not playing on the basketball team and interning at some small clinic. Like, they're making water-powered engines. They're doing some crazy stuff that most average people don't do. So if you want to get scholarships, you have to get the ones that limit the pool of applicants. If you compete with the whole world, you're not going to win much. So for example, my mom works for Clorox. So she has a scholarship which only employees' kids can apply for. I applied for that scholarship, I won $10,000, and I know for a fact if that scholarship had been open to the whole world, I would not have won. There's just too many smart people out there. So find scholarships that your parents, that only employees' kids can apply for, or only family members. Maybe scholarships that only people who went to your elementary school or middle school can apply for. People who only live in your hometown or do this or do that. They're out there, you just gotta find them and knock them down. For my scholarship essay for Clorox, I had 2 of my professors proofread my essay and give me a ton of advice so I can nail them. They're definitely a lot of work, but there's a ton of info on the internet how to nail them down, tips and tricks, write this, not that. You guys will find it if you're looking for it. Just nail those scholarships. Now, the next thing I'd recommend, guys, is a little bit tricky, but it's work a job over the summer and during the school year, but only if you make more money from that job than what you could have made if you didn't work it. Let me explain what I mean. Let's say, for example, you could either do a full-time job which pays $15 an hour and keep all the money you made, which would be $8,000, a lot to contribute over the summer to your college expenses. Or you could do an unpaid part-time internship and take a few community college classes. Well, the unpaid internship would get you a higher paying job right after college, or possibly a higher paying internship while you're in college, and the classes from community college would help you graduate early. So in that sense, you would make more money by not working the full-time job, doing the internship and taking classes instead. So you really have to see, will working a job make me more money compared to doing other things? Another example I see people do is being a research assistant on campus. If it pays a good amount of money, that's awesome. You can pay off your college and also get you a higher paying job right after college. So it might be more beneficial to take an extra class or 2 to graduate a quarter early. You really have to see, this is really a person by person thing. You have to see, will this thing in the long run make me more money than not doing it? So you guys followed everything I said, or you didn't and you still graduated with student loan debt. I know right now, I think 70% of college grads are graduating with about $30,000 worth of debt, which, believe me, the interest rates will eat you guys alive, because $30,000 to pay off after 30 years means you'll pay off about $60,000 worth of debt if you include the interest and everything. So the goal is not to do that. So what I recommend you guys do is just live like you're broke. Move in with your parents and spend every spare penny you can towards paying off that debt. If you don't pay off that debt as soon as possible, it'll just delay everything else in your life, like having kids, buying a house, things that'll set you up for future financial success. So that is the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys were wondering about my college paying off breakdown, basically I'm set to graduate a year early, which saves me $25,000. I have a $10,000 Clorox scholarship. I'm also spending this last year at home while I'm going to online school. So that saved me a ton in room and board. And I just through financial aid and working full-time jobs over the summer and an internship during the fall quarter and just a ton of other ways I made money, I'm set to graduate 0 student loan, which has been my goal since the first day I went to college. So honestly, if you guys just follow these steps, you guys will be set as well. I know nowadays it's not fair how messed up financial aid is and how if you're in a middle class family, it'll bankrupt you, but that's just the way it is, what we have to work with. If you guys did enjoy the video or learn something new, be sure to give me a big thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next week for the next video.